Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about applying for the graduate visa in France. So the reason why I'm making this video is because I know, we know, if you're watching this video, then you definitely know that the French administration process is such a headache and it's so stressful. And I went through this process myself, and so I thought that I would be able to share what it was like for you guys, and so that you just kind of know what to expect when going through it. So the French Graduate Visa, or also known as the Visa Recherche d'emploi Création d'entreprise, so RECE. So it's a visa that you can apply to once you're done with your studies in France after you finish like a master's program or like the bachelor or licence professionnelle. So it's like an in-between visa that you can apply to, which allows you to work and stay on the French soil like legally for an entire year once you're done with your studies. Okay, so when you want to apply for this visa, you have a few documents to submit. Most of them you already have, like your passport, your photo, your quittance de loyer and stuff like that. And the one document that is the most important thing is your attestation de réussite définitive. And I stress on the définitive, because if it's an attestation provisoire, they're not going to accept it. Like my application got rejected like 3 to 4 times with an attestation de réussite provisoire, and that honestly landed me in so much of stress because my university refused to give me my définitive attestation, even though I had all my results. I was done with engineering school, like everything was set, but because the diplôme was so late, like I had to wait till later on before I got that. So it wasn't an ideal situation, but try to finish your stage, your jury, your présentation, your soutenance early in time and get your marks and your attestation de réussite définitive in order to launch this process. So if you're living in Paris, this is something that you could do online. I also know that this is available for other cities. I'm not sure if it's the case for like everywhere, but if your postcode is in Paris, then you can do this process online. It's very straightforward. Once you have all the documents, you can just submit it and then wait for a reply. They also encourage you to do it 3 to 4 months, I think, before your current visa expires, so do anticipate it as well. Now, the one thing you should not do is to try to launch 2 processes at the same time. So, for example, do not try to launch like a passeport talent or like a working visa. Do not try to launch like another process to extend your student visa or a passeport talent or like the working visa. Don't do it in parallel because it blocks their system and it creates like some chaos. I've heard from some friends who launched their graduate visa process and then ended up landing like a CDI contract with like the minimum requirements for a passeport talent and then launched that as well. And those 2 processes just got stuck, and it led to them not having a visa for 1 year, and it led to them having to renew their récépissé like 4 times a year, basically like every time it expired, because they launched 2 processes at the same time. So do not do that at all costs. Just launch like whatever one process is that you're launching and you'll be fine. So the whole process took around like 6 months for me, and during that 6 months it was extremely stressful because, as you know, like, I mean, if you're watching this video, then you probably know what it's like dealing with the French government and the French administration process. You're not very informed on the process. You don't know where your application is set, how long it takes, and it's very stressful, especially because your student visa comes to an end and you kind of need like something immediately that continues so that you can stay on the French soil and so that you can work. And the reason why it was complicated for me is because I was offered a fixed term contract after my internship, and so I needed to have a visa to sort of assure that continuity so that I could fulfill my fixed term contract. When I said the whole process took 6 months, I started my application at the end of July. Basically, when I was done with my internship, I had done my présentation in front of the jury, I had my results and everything. So I launched the process, and I only heard back from the préfecture or the administration in mid-September telling me that I have an appointment with them at the end of October. And mind you, my student visa was expiring like in the beginning of November. And at that point, my fixed term contract had already started, and I had to really make sure that I get my visa like when my student visa expires to assure that continuity. I went for the appointment at the on the 30th of October, 5 days before my student visa expired. And then I got this récépissé, which is basically like this temporary document for 3 months to attest that you have launched the process, you are now waiting for your card, and it basically like extends the rights of your current visa at that moment. So my récépissé for 3 months extended my student visa rights, thus allowing me to continue working and to be on the French soil legally. And once you get the récépissé, you have to wait for a text message or an email from the administration telling you that your titre is ready and you can get an appointment with the préfecture to go pick it up. And now that is another story because it is another stressful procedure to book an appointment with the préfecture. So I would definitely recommend like anticipating that step the moment you get your récépissé. And then I finally got my visa on the 30th of January and my récépissé expired on the 31st of January. So stressful. So in between all of those processes, I had to like call them and send them multiple emails to ask them where my application was at, when am I going to get an appointment, because it was such a stressful and difficult situation working at that moment, knowing that your contract, like your work contract, could be dissolved if you do not have a visa to assure the continuity. So it was obviously not an ideal situation. Now what I would say is you definitely have to like bombard them with emails and ask them when are you going to be able to get your visa, where is your application at. You can also try to call 3430 at 9 a.m. and at 2 p.m. sharp, because if not, you're never going to get someone to pick up. And it's not like one of those numbers where you pick up and you're like, oh, you are caller number 10, you have 10 minutes of waiting time. No, it's like you call and then they would say like, oh, all of our operators are already taken, so please try again later, and then they hang up. So it's literally a nightmare. And I managed to get through when I called at 1:59 p.m. because lunch break ends at 2 p.m. But even when you get to call them, honestly don't even expect much help, because they're probably going to tell you that they have no control over the appointments, they have no control of like visibility, basically won't be able to tell you anything new. But the thing is, it really depends on who looks at your email and who picks up the phone. You will end up talking to someone who will not give you any help, who would send you a copy and paste email and would not even like try to address your issue 99% of the time. But all it takes is that one person to read and understand your issue and understand like the consequences of not getting a visa, and then like do something to help speed that process up. So definitely don't hesitate to send them like emails again and again and again, explaining your situation, explaining why you need to get your visa before your student visa expires. Also like anticipate the appointment, because you have to book the appointment on the official website, and if you wait for the SMS or the email that says that your card is ready and you can book an appointment to pick it up, you would have to wait 3 months. In that 3 months, your student visa would have probably already expired. So if you're in a situation, or if you're going to be in a situation that I was in, meaning that you have to juggle your contract and also assure the continuity of the visa, anticipate the appointment, because it's something that you can cancel later on, so it doesn't really matter. Well, what matters is that you get that slot. So once you've submitted your dossier and you've gotten your récépissé, I would definitely like suggest booking an appointment before your récépissé expires, so that way you know that you definitely get your card before your récépissé expires, and you even have the appointment ready. Now, when you book the appointment, they would probably ask you for your titre de séjour number. Fun fact, your titre de séjour, like your number, will remain the same between your student visa and your graduate visa. So you can use the same number when you want to book your appointment. People have also told me that I could go to the préfecture directly and try to plead my case so that I could get my visa in time. This doesn't help. I've been there. I tried to go there twice because, as I mentioned, my récépissé expired on the 31st of January, and I only managed to get an appointment on the 30th. because I had to send them like multiple emails, and someone finally responded and said, oh hey, okay, here's your appointment on the 30th of January. So like basically before that, I had no way of knowing that I would be able to get my valid visa that would allow me to continue my work. As I think about it, I'm like, thank God all that is over. Bon bref, anyway, going to the préfecture, you could try just like for your own sake of consciousness, knowing that you've done everything that you can, but honestly don't even expect much. They are quite rude and dismissive, but at the same time I kind of don't blame them for it, because they receive so many people with the same issue every day, and I get it, like it's just like deja vu over and over again, and so you're not going to be any different to them. It was like the 6 most stressful months of my life. So I just want to say that it's normal, and I hope this video sort of like gave you guys some tips and tricks on what you can do to let that process go through as smoothly as it can. Obviously, in an ideal situation, if you can get your company to help sponsor like a work visa, that would be the best thing. But if you're alone in the whole process, then stay strong, you'll get there. Yeah, don't hesitate to send them emails, call them. The process is long and very, very draining emotionally and mentally. And if you have any questions, then drop them down in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to reply you guys. So I'll see you in my next video. Bon courage. Ciao.